This is Sidharth, who scored a rank of 5 in NEET UG 2022 with a mark of 711. Now I'm going to share my journey, how my exam day was, and how was it night before, and how was it later. Are you guys ready? Now let's rewind to the exam day. Night before the exam, I was revising. I always had the thing that during the exam or before the exam, I should have this thing that I'm going to write an exam, so I should have that exam mind. I should have my mind prepared to write the exam, so I shouldn't have to chill. It doesn't mean that I shouldn't have to chill. I had to go with a tensed mind. And between when I was reading, I was talking to my parents, I was talking to my friends. Like whenever I could relax myself, my friends and my parents were always my support. That's how I went to the exam. Even before the exam, even when I was traveling to the exam, I just looked at some points that I forget during every exam. It's not that whatever have worked for me will work for you, but you can try it. It's always, when we go to a playground or when we play a match, we do a warm-up, which is required for that. So in the same way, when I'm going to write the exam the next day, it's the same thing. I have just revised whatever the things that I have to. It's nothing practice, like no doing physics problems, no doing chemistry problems. It's just revising the topics that you may forget, that you shouldn't forget, and it should not just, it's not like something very easy ball. You have missed a very easy ball. Like that's the reason I just revised the day before the exam, and whenever I had stress, my family and my friends, and just a call to them, and everything would be like very nice. The morning of the exam, it's not like, if you don't have the sleep before the day, you should be tense that I'm not having the sleep, I'm not having a great sleep of 6 hours, my mind is not fresh, nothing like that. See, whenever you're writing the exam, there'll always be a shot of adrenaline because it's an exam which many people think that is going to decide your life, which is not actually true, but it does for many of the people. So even if you don't have a better sleep, don't get tense. I'm saying you because I slept at something like 12 and woke up really early. No problem, just calm yourself. That day is the day that you have been preparing for 2 years. So please just calm yourself. That is the most important thing on the day of the exam. And whenever you feel like that self-doubt is always there, that you may do it, may not do it, that exam day is going to decide, and whatever topics you're weak in, maybe the examiner is going to give that only. Just stop thinking all of that. You have written enough exams, enough practice tests and all that. So just have confidence thinking that whatever you have written in those previous exams will be coming on the day of the exam. Just have a beautiful smile to conquer whatever it's gonna come on the day of the exam. And even when I was traveling, I just did a little bit of revision. That is like, it was just seeing the things that I didn't see in the past, 1 month or something like that, which I was way too confident in. That should not lead to, being overconfident, losing the marks on the exam or while writing the exam. So that was my point. So just let me revise whatever I thought that I was confident in. So that was the thing. But whenever it was like last 3 hours just before the exam, I reached the center before like 3 or 4 hours itself. So there were my friends in the center. So I was talking to them and I was really relaxed. Nothing regarding studies. Just, it's always the thing that we have to work after the exam, I'm going to enjoy my life. Like almost like 2 years of preparation are going to come to an end, and now I'm going to enjoy. And that was the only thing on my mind that I'm going to enjoy. So now let me give my best shot for this exam. Yeah, our exam was going to start at 2 and we started at 11 from our house. It was not too far, but we always had the thing that I should not get late by any means, and the gates would be closed by 1:30. And NTA is really strict about. So we started and we reached there by 12 and we had a lot of time. I was just eating light food because my mom was so strict about it. And and there was always this thing that we read on some other websites saying that, something happened with this person, paper came late to them, and something happened to this person, that there was continuous sleep getting disturbed. I was all prepared that I had to do everything calmly. Even if they come near me for some 5 to 6 times, asking me to sign somewhere, asking me to bubble something, I would do it calmly without reacting even a little. That would just spoil my mind at that particular point of time, or just take out the calmness that I had until whatever I prepared for, that would all go in vain. So I had this prepared. Even during my preparation days, I was preparing in every possible way that could happen in the exam hall, without a watch in the exam center, or getting a paper late, so like 20 minutes or something like that. So I was just prepared for every possible thing. So whatever, we should always have this thing that be prepared for the worst and expect the best. So that's what was always there in my mind. And even after I entered the exam hall, there was this thing, my parents were saying me all the best, my friends were also there, and they were also saying me all the best. And It was their blessings that you have to take and just accept the fact whatever is going to happen for your good. Just go give your best shot was on my mind. And now I went to the exam hall 2 hours prior. Like it was like 12:30 or 12 when I entered the exam, and now I had 2 hours. And now my eyes start paining because I didn't have a lot of sleep and I was tense. Now what if I am not on my fully fledged state or something like that? My brain should work to the maximum optimum thing. So I had this self-doubt things again, but again I had to cool down. I just laid down there, went to the washroom and just calmed myself and just had my alone time where I didn't speak to anyone. It was really, really, if someone would check my heartbeat, I guess they would say that I had a high BP or something like that. It was too high. And just before, some 20 minutes were there, and I didn't know what I was doing. There was only 3 hours that was going to decide my future. Or many things running all at a time, like Delhi ke traffic jaise ya Mumbai ke traffic jaise. बहुत कुछ चल रहा था, और I was really confused. It was like, what should I do? Is the paper going to be tough? Is the paper going to be easy? And now the examiner comes, puts the paper in front of me, and my heartbeat really, really spikes. And that you can see it on my face. I still experience that it was, I can't explain it again and again, that I had been preparing for 2 years and now I had to give my best shot. But still there was self-doubt that can I do it or can I not do it? Can I do it? Can I not do it? If I had a rose with me, I would just take out the petals. Can I do it? Can I not do it? Cannot do it? Can I not do it? So yeah, paper came. There were just staring things. I was like, keep calm, Sidharth, keep calm, Sidharth. Thinking about my mom, thinking about my best friend, just their smile, thinking about my dad. This is the thing that can make them really proud. So that was how I calmed myself down, and then I had to start the exam. So now examiner gave me the question paper, and there was this difficulty that papers were exchanged. Again, they had taken our paper back and they gave the paper of some other person. So paper started with something weird, like something really, time was wasted or something like that, but I just had to put myself down and put myself calm. And now the paper comes, I see a question which I recently asked someone and it directly appeared in the exam. It just boosted my confidence, and that was physics. And that was a theory question. I was always worried in theory questions out of NCERT where they can give. So, because I was not really perfect with the lines of physics NCERT as I was in bio. So when I saw it, it boosted my confidence. Now I went to the biology section. I just did not really open all the pages of chemistry. If I would have done, maybe I would have worried about it, but I didn't. Instead, I went to the biology section. Biology section, now I start doing, and I get really, really, really tense. That heart rate was high and I was not able to calm myself down. I didn't understand what to do. Now I start solving the questions and I just go question by question. If I am not able to do some question, if I am finding there are many options for that question, and if I find a question a little tricky, I just left it to the end. The statement based questions that we got, many questions that we got this year were all done by me in the second attempt of the paper that I did. So it was like, whatever questions were a little difficult or a little tricky, or where I had doubt in two options, I just left it to the end. So whatever questions I could do and I felt they were a little easy, I just did them in the first go. Underline every word that I had to, just read the proper things that I might have forgotten in the previous exams. That was important to me. And I had this thing in my mind that I at no cost should commit silly mistakes, at least in bio and chemistry. And now when I got to know that bio was a little lengthy and was a little tricky, as of not it was in 2021 or 2020, I had to give my best shot in bio. So this was also there in my mind that in my grand test or the previous test I was writing, that bio was a little weak for me, but I just did not let that happen. I also had that clear that if I find a question little similar to the one that I did already, I would read the question same way that I did it for the first time. So that was how I did it. I did my bio and I also did my chemistry and I did my physics, and there was a flow. Like I just didn't bubble OMR, I did it the second time. So it was like, do bio, wherever there were lengthy questions, wherever there was tricky, just leave it to the end. That was all there in my mind. So whatever was easy, I had to do it properly. That was clearly there in my mind. I can't choose any question that I know, and I can't give a reason saying that I had a time constraint. This was clear. And now there was paper in front of me. As I already mentioned, bio was a little lengthy. Now I had questions which were real tricky, that they were considered to be difficult questions in my exams that I wrote as mock tests or something like that. So now I always attempted my paper in attempts. In the first attempt, I would try to complete the entire paper, whichever questions were easy or they had a little bit of calculation, not too lengthy calculations. I went with the flow. I completed the biology paper. I know that I left enough number of questions. And now I went to chemistry. Chemistry also had statement-based questions. Many statement-based questions where they asked about incorrect, correct, where they were asking about assertion reasoning. And assertion reasoning was almost the first time where they really asked tricky questions. So I also left them to the end. And there were also graphical questions that were asked in a new way. And now I went to physics. Physics really calmed me down. They didn't ask really calculation based or really tricky type of questions. That was a little bit easy, so that brought my anxiety of solving the paper again that I always did previously down. So I could solve physics very easily in very few time. So now I completed my first round of paper. I knew that I left a lot of questions in bio and chemistry. There I did my silly mistakes which brought my score to 711. Actually what I did in my paper is that physics when I was doing it, I had this thing that I had to do it fast. And when I was doing it fast in the second section, I chose a question which I thought of not doing a mistake, but I just committed a very silly mistake. And I could also say that this is the best decision of my life, that I left a question which was considered to be a very big ambiguity, the anatomy question, where all the 5 statements were correct, but there was no option saying that all the statements are correct, and I left that question. That I guess was the best decision of my life, and that brought my score 711, giving me a rank of 5. So what I would like to suggest every aspirant is that attempting all the questions is not really necessary. If you don't have any answer to that question which you feel is correct, just don't attempt it. 1 mark can get your rank much better place, and it would give you your dream college. So that is what I would like to suggest every aspirant. And now I went to the first attempt. I completed my first attempt. Now I go on to the second attempt. Now I check all those questions which I felt 2 options were right, or which I felt there were many statements to check and again options to check. So that's what I went now. So I just went on reading them slowly with all my adrenaline down. I just went and read every line properly, and I also checked the questions that I already did them. Just reading the every line properly, I could find 3 mistakes in my question paper, which if I would have not checked would go wrong, and I would land in some 690s or something like that. So I would also suggest every aspirant to practice in such a way that you complete your paper in 2 hours and you also have enough time for checking, because a normal human would always commit mistakes in hurry. And if it is an important thing, and if you have this thing in your mind that you have to ace it, you'll obviously do it with a little bit of hype or with a little bit of adrenaline high or something, whatever it is. The biological things always happen in a person. So you better check it wherever you're going wrong. Just always have that thing that you have to read every question that you're reading it for the first time. Don't take that much time that you are taking it the first time. So it always comes by practice. So I did that. I went to my second attempt, and now usually what I used to do in my mock test is that I try and I just stay on that question until I get that question. But on the final NEET exam, instead of getting stuck at that particular question, I left that question and went to the third attempt. Third attempt in the sense I completed my OMR bubbling, and now I just have 5 questions left, which I thought to leave all the 5 of them. My senior was one of my senior who got into AIMS Bhopal suggested me clearly the competition is very tough, so just leave the questions whichever you're not able to do. And I thought of leaving all of them, but I just went through them again just with a cool mind, calm mind, and attempted 4 of them. And now I would like to show some tricky questions that I solved in the final NEET day and that I guess would help you in the future. It was an assertion reason question which I guess most of the people got wrong, and that's some solid state, and it was a new question which I didn't solve any time in my mock test. And that was a question where assertion and reason both were correct statements, but reason was not explaining the assertion. So when I was during the exam hall, I just could figure out that the second statement was right, and the first statement I had a doubt. If a solid lost some of the cations, how could it still be neutral? But I also remembered a statement saying NCRT that ionic solids are always neutral. So that was there in my mind. So I just did this in my third attempt, which I thought I would leave in the exam. So I just went with my guts and I believed my concept and I put third option. But many people kept the second option. So I would suggest all the aspirants to solve as many questions as possible where you have 2 statements, an assertion and a reason, and where you have a doubt thinking that whether a reason explains the assertion or not. And now I would also select some other question which was also in chemistry, and that was easy, but many people just thought that that would be difficult or something, very tough, because it was just in section B. Because many people have this thing, in their mind that section B matlab tough. It's not like that. The question says, in the neutral or faintly alkaline medium, KMnO4 oxidizes iodide into iodate. The change in oxidation number state of manganese in the reaction is. So it's just a simple reaction where you'll obviously know that in a neutral or faintly alkaline medium, KMnO4 changes to MnO2. So here it's +7 and here it's +4. So the second option would be right. You just have to remember this thing. It's a very simple reaction. Just don't get stressed thinking that it is section B. So I would expect every aspirant to just remember these simple reactions which would score you or which would fetch you very easily marks. So this was an easy question which many people left thinking that that would be a tough reaction. And there was also this another assertion reason question in bio that I was confused. I was a lot confused in that question. So there was these two questions, assertion and reason. All vertebrates are chordates, but all chordates are non-vertebrates. Notochord is replaced by vertebral column in adult vertebrates. I knew that both these statements were right, but I still was not understanding how was the reason exploring assertion. And now here's where NCERT plays a role. I've seen in some videos said by a topper saying that if there are two statements in NCERT written in continuation, like there is first statement and there is second statement, that means the second statement is always the reason for the first statement. Not any two like random statements, but in NCERT, if there are two statements, first statement and there is second statement, and if they are written in the continuation, the second statement is the reason for the first statement. And it was these type of questions were usually given in AIMS exam, and this year NEET NTA also included such type of questions in NEET exam, and that I remembered that, so I just put that reason is the correct explanation for assertion. So then I put second option. And this was also in my third attempt of the paper, where I had a doubt of whether attempting it or not attempting it. So I would just like to say all the aspirants, just follow NCERT blindly. That it's, you just have to understand every line of NCERT so that you can solve the paper in a much more confident way. Yeah, and now it was almost 4:15 where I came to an end of the paper. My first attempt, I did it from 2 to 4, and then comes my second attempt where I did it from 4 to 5, and then comes my third attempt where I did it from 5 to 5:15. And I'm almost done with my paper, and now the bell rang and teachers, the invigilators started collecting the papers, where I thought that I badly messed up the paper and everything is just, I just had this thing in mind that whatever is going to happen, I'm going to take it. And I just hoped that whatever I put, wherever I thought there was ambiguity, that my answer should be the right answer. And I came out of the exam hall, and wherever people who were writing along with me many of them were really happy. They were like, their answers were not matching to my answers, so that depressed me more. But still, I was just waiting for the best. I was just hoping for the best. Yeah, now I step out of the exam hall, and I obviously knew that my parents are going to stay, and my friends, my school friends or my college friends were always also waiting out. And I saw them and I spoke to them about the answer key and all that, and they were not matching, and that depressed me more. And now I spoke to my parents. I was in a very low mood where I told that I didn't do it well, and my mom was fine, and my father was like, that's fine, just relax, just go chill with your friends, don't talk about the exam. And the next 1 hour, when I had to travel to my campus back again to check the exam key. So that 1 hour, I literally just wanted to forget about how I gave the exam. I didn't speak to anyone about any answer or any question, which would depress me more. And so now I went back to the campus, and there was the key ready. So now I start checking. When I start checking, all my answers were turning to be right. And that gave me a little bit of excitement. I completed my chemistry checking and I was scoring 180. And now I go to physics, and there comes physics, where I committed a very silly mistake, which I was really regretting of. But still, I thought that maybe chemistry, just I got it by luck or something. Now I know bio, I might have messed it up so bad. So now I go to the biology checking bio. I just went to my bio faculty to check out the bio paper. There I see that I was getting 355. And anatomy question, many people were considering as bonus 356. And I left that anatomy question, and my teachers were like, "You'll get it a bonus for sure," which really didn't happen at the end. But at the end, I was getting a score of 711. I was like, I can't explain how was it. Just, it was like, complete. Suddenly you have a toss, and first you see that there is heads. Suddenly it turns to tails. It's just like that when I saw my score. It was 711, and last year my dream college cutoff was 710. So I had this thing that this should be the final score. This should be the final score. And God listened to me, and it was my parents' blessings and my friends, always their support, and that it became my final score. And my expected rank was in 50s, because last year 711, it was almost around 20 or 30. So I was like, just get me a rank below 50 so that I get into AIIMS Delhi. So we got a key a little late, and result was not expected on date because we got key a little late, and they told just after the key 1 week they'll give it. And we were meeting from the morning. We always kept checking on September 7th, and late at night, where I just lost the hopes that the result is not going to be out. My brother was just checking, thinking that he was more excited than me. He was checking when is the website going slow, so that he was just having that whenever the website was going slow, the result is going to be out. He just opened the website at 11 o'clock, and he and my father saw my result first, and they decided not to say me the result until tomorrow morning, until the next day's morning. But my mom came me and told me the result, and she was like, I got rank 5. There were just tears in my eyes. I can't explain what was the feeling that was going on. And it was just something, magical or something like that. I didn't expect a rank of 5. I was a student who came from a bare minimum score of 600 to 711, and getting a rank of 5 throughout the India was a very big thing for me, and which took a lot of time to digest. And my parents literally celebrated the night. When it was raining, they burned crackers outside, and that rain just stopped for the 10 minutes where my parents had to burn crackers. It was really a proud moment for me, my parents and my friends. Everybody were really happy, and my life for the first time was busy for the next 3 days. Just getting calls from people, congratulations, that and this, and I was really, really happy. So I would suggest every aspirant to work hard to get their dreams true and make your parents proud and make your friends also proud. Well, this brought back me a lot of memories, and now it's the time for you guys to work hard and to achieve your dream rank. And I would also like to stress on the fact that the correct paper attempting strategy will help you get your dream rank. So all the best, guys. Keep hustling, keep chilling, and work hard. Thank you.